This short presentation reviews misplaced and dangling modifiers. A modifier is a word or phrase that adds additional information about a word in a sentence. When modifiers are in the wrong place, a sentence can become confusing. For example, the part I've highlighted in red is the modifier. Carrying in the main course, the roast slid off its platter. Okay, it becomes confusing because it's not clear who's carrying in the main course. Certainly it's not the roast, right? Here's another example. The young man gave his driver's license to the officer with shaking hands. Well, who is it that has the shaking hands? It's probably not the officer, although that's what the sentence seems to imply. It seems that the young man is probably the one with shaking hands, but here it looks like the officer has shaking hands. Okay, so there are two types of modifier problems that we're going to talk about briefly. The first one is a misplaced modifier, which is just what it sounds like. It happens when the modifier is in the wrong place in the sentence. And here's a famous example from Groucho Marx. One morning I shot an elephant in my pajamas. How he got into my pajamas, I'll never know. So if you look at that first sentence, it looks as if the elephant is wearing the speaker's pajamas, and that's what makes this joke funny. So to get around that, you're always going to locate the modifier as close as possible to the word that it's describing. Okay, so here's another example that may be confusing. Sean won the pole vault event when he almost jumped 16 feet. Well, that brings up the question, did he think about jumping but then decide not to do it? He almost jumped? It's clearer when it's worded this way. Sean won the pole vault event when he jumped almost 16 feet. The other type of modifier we're going to talk about is a dangling modifier. And that happens when the first part of the sentence seems to imply that it's modifying a noun that's not there. Waiting for the bus, the time went by slowly. Well, who or what is waiting for the bus? In the sentence, it looks like time is waiting for the bus, which is confusing. So when a modifier begins a sentence, the very next word must be the word that it's intended to describe. For example, while waiting for the bus, I played a game on my phone. So while waiting for the bus is your modifier, and it describes the word I. So this sentence makes sense. While waiting for the bus, many cars went by. Again, while waiting for the bus is the modifier. The very next noun here is cars. Well, cars aren't waiting for the bus, so this sentence doesn't make sense. This is a dangling modifier because the who or what is waiting for the bus isn't mentioned in this sentence, so this modifier is just left there dangling. So you can find more information about avoiding dangling and misplaced modifiers by going to the OWL at Purdue's website using this URL.